Hey you guys, I'm Brian Paul, and it's time to finally talk about all the PlayStation VR games that were shown during this year's E3 video game convention. Now let's start with some of the games that were revealed a couple weeks before the show. First up was Astro Bot Rescue Mission, which should look familiar to anyone who played Robots Rescue in the VR Playroom. This is essentially an 8-hour version of that game, and it's coming fall 2018. Evasion from Archaeact was another nice surprise. Reminiscent of Farpoint with its graphical style and the ability to use the aim controller, this single-player or multiplayer game is also coming fall 2018. And of course, Creed Rise to Glory is another awesome game coming to us from Survios, developers of Raw Data and Sprint Vector. And although it is an arcade boxing game, the developers want to be very clear that this one doesn't play like Knockout League or Punch-Out! Creed Rise to Glory is slated for, you guessed it, fall 2018. And then Sony themselves had a few PlayStation VR games to announce leading up to their E3 press conference. The first one being Tetris Effect, developed by Luminous and Rez creator Tetsuya Mizuguchi. This one is guaranteed to be trippy and beautiful. And for anyone wondering about the soundtrack, it features all original music, and so far, everything we've heard has been pretty incredible. Next up was Ghost Giant, developed by Zoink Games, who you might know from Fee and Flipping Death. This one looks pretty emotional. You play as the Ghost Giant and you befriend a young boy named Lewis, who's sad and lonely, and you're there to be his friend. This one doesn't have a release date yet, but it reminds us of Tearaway, Animal Planet, Moss, and Along Together, making it just more of a good thing. And then Sony's final PlayStation VR announcement before the show is that Beat Saber is actually coming to PlayStation VR sometime later this year. Bethesda's E3 conference this year was confusing to say the least. They announced a bunch of games and then were very unclear about what platforms they were coming for. The one we know for certain is Wolfenstein's Cyberpilot, where you'll kill Nazis, but from inside a stolen German war machine. It's slated for a 2019 release and is available for pre-order on Amazon right now. It's going for $20, so keep any expectations of a AAA game firmly in check. Bethesda also announced Prey DLC Transstar and mobile game Elder Scrolls Blades. Now, while both of these titles are in development for VR, we've yet to get confirmation about PlayStation VR specifically. And then over on Ubisoft's stage, we got a short look at Elijah Wood's VR game, Transference. We saw just a little bit of gameplay, and so far, it's looking a lot like Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul. As a big fan of scary games, I'm not going to complain. Sony was last to take the stage, and of course that's what we were all excited for, and they showed us two PlayStation VR games. The first was Trover Saves the Universe, a 3D platform game from Squanch Games and Justin Roiland, meaning, if you liked Accounting Plus, you'll probably like this. But far more intriguing was the reveal of Deracine, a PlayStation VR exclusive from Hidetaka Miyazaki and From Software, developers of Bloodborne. Now this is a 6 to 8 hour adventure using dual move controllers looking extremely reminiscent of the Invisible Hours. It all takes place in a boarding school, and you play as a fairy. It's coming sometime this year, 2018. Adding to the list of VR games coming our way is Gungrave VR, and even though it's been out in other territories for quite a while now, it's finally heading our way, fall 2018. We saw some extended footage of Vacation Simulator by Alchemy Labs, developers of Job Simulator, which is also slated for 2018 and looks like a much more seamless experience than its predecessor. Also coming in 2018 is Space Pirate Trainer. Puts you inside an arcade game, fighting off relentless waves of droids with all the weapons and gadgets a space pirate would ever need. Arca's Path VR is a puzzle game featuring 25 levels and does not require a controller. Table of Tales: The Crooked Crown is an RPG adventure played over a virtual table. Media Molecule showed off a ton of game creator dreams, and it looks pretty incredible. Now we know that PlayStation VR support is coming day one, we just don't know to what capacity. High up on everyone's PlayStation VR Most Wanted list is Firewall Zero Hour, and developer First Contact Entertainment stated in a recent interview that it's coming very, 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 very soon. If that doesn't mean next week, then I don't know what does. And then finally, developer Bandai Namco tweeted that their long-awaited Ace Combat 7 has a new trailer and will be posted online for everyone to see tomorrow, Friday the 15th. Now obviously leading up to E3, I made a ton of predictions, and none of them were accurate. Games that we know are coming this year were totally missing in action. Off the top of my head, we didn't see Golem, Blood and Truth, The Persistence, or Star Child, all which are supposed to come out this year, which honestly was just more confusing than anything else. Sony's E3 press conference was slow and poorly paced, and it would have seemed like a no-brainer to interject new gameplay footage from these games, but I do find it strange that we have virtually no PlayStation VR games slated for 2019. Sony has a major presence at a lot of video game conventions, including their annual PlayStation Experience every December, so I'm still curious to see if there are any big announcements in the works. Regardless, that was pretty much all the PlayStation VR coverage we got during E3 2018. It's certainly a lot less than we were hoping for, but there's still definitely a lot to look forward to. Before I go, I'd like to let everyone know that the Midnight Gamescast is returning on Tuesday, June 26th, and our current plans are to make it a live stream that'll start at 1 p.m. Eastern. That way you can chime in with your comments during the show. It won't be the exact same format you're used to, but it will be nice to have Jeremy and Michelle back. Alright you guys, that's all the news I have for you today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest PlayStation VR reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, and of course breaking news. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.